The Tale of the Endless Patterns. In the land of Althera, a place where mountains shimmered with colors unseen and rivers flowed with music instead of water, there lived a young thinker named Liora. She was curious and clever, yet she found herself puzzled by the invisible strings that tied the world together. While she could solve problems laid out plainly before her, the deeper patterns and connections that eluded her made her restless. One day, while wandering the Enigma forest, she stumbled upon a curious creature, a translucent being known as the Weaver of Whispers. The weaver spoke in riddles, its words flowing like water, yet forming intricate webs of meaning. "You seek to understand what cannot be seen," the weaver said, its voice like the hum of a distant star. "If you wish to unravel the unseen, you must venture into the labyrinth of reflections, where every step will challenge how you think and perceive." The Labyrinth of Reflections. Intrigued, Liora followed the weaver to a shimmering portal that led to the labyrinth. The entrance was unassuming, a simple arch of silver vines, but as she stepped through, the world transformed. Mirrors lined every wall, ceiling, and floor, reflecting infinite versions of herself and the world around her. The first challenge was a room filled with glowing symbols, spirals, triangles, and stars, each pulsing with an inner light. A voice echoed, "Arrange these symbols in the order of their meaning." Liora stared at the symbols. What meaning could they hold? They weren't letters or numbers, but felt connected somehow. She sat in silence, letting her mind wander. Then she remembered a tale of the stars and their ancient patterns. The spirals were galaxies, the triangles mountains, and the stars guides. By aligning them in a cosmic narrative, she unlocked the next door. The room of shifting sands. In the next chamber, a vast expanse of sand stretched before her, marked with intricate patterns that shifted and swirled as she moved. The patterns seemed random, yet there was a strange harmony to their motion. The weaver's voice returned, "Walk the path unseen." Leora hesitated, but then she knelt, watching the sand closely. As the patterns shifted, she realized they were forming the tracks of an invisible wind. Trusting her instincts, she followed the flow of the patterns, her movements guided not by sight but by understanding the unseen forces shaping the sand. The door at the other end opened, and she felt a spark of clarity. The lake of infinite questions. The third chamber was a lake, perfectly still and clear. Hovering above its surface were questions written in the water's reflection. What is time if not memory? Does a shadow exist without light? Can one create without destroying? Liora found no answers at first. She realized the questions weren't meant to be answered, they were meant to be explored. As she pondered, ripples formed in the lake, revealing new questions beneath each answer she attempted. "The more I question, the deeper it goes," she whispered. "This lake is like the mind. It grows only when stirred." She dived into the water, letting herself be surrounded by the endless questions. When she emerged, she found herself in the final room. The web of all things. The last chamber was vast and filled with glowing threads that stretched infinitely in all directions. Each thread connected to countless others, forming a web so intricate it seemed alive. The weaver appeared beside her. "This is the web of all things," it said. "Every idea, every concept, every being is connected. To think abstractly is to see not just the threads, but the spaces between them, the harmony in their movement." Leora reached out, touching a thread. Images and ideas flooded her mind. Mathematics, art, love, time, all intertwined. She began to move her hands through the web, weaving her own patterns, seeing connections she had never imagined. Returning to Althera, when Leora stepped out of the labyrinth, the world looked different. Mountains weren't just stone, they were symbols of resilience. Rivers weren't just paths of water, they were the flow of life itself. She realized that abstract thinking wasn't about finding answers, but understanding the deeper relationships that connected everything. From that day on, Liora became known as the Sage of Patterns, teaching others how to see the world not just as it was, but as it could be imagined.